So we're here in a really old basement. This basement is over 150 years old. So I just want to point out some stuff for the realtors that don't know much about houses. So here, this is a parged wall this way, and kind of see what this kind of falls apart after years and years. So somebody will come in and scrape this out and put a new coat of cement on it, and that'll kind of clean all that up. You don't have much structure issue with the parging. It's when all of the parging is gone and then the rocks start coming out. So another thing, this is a really old oil heat boiler. These are all the pipes for it. And one thing to be concerned about is when you see this wrapping. So what this is actually most likely asbestos. It's not tested, we don't know, can't always say that it is, but just so you know, this could be asbestos. Anytime you see that, you're gonna call for an expert to come in and give the buyer some information. Now, we're gonna pause you real quick and kind of go show you another section of this old basement. All right, so we're here in this older section, and what happened in this particular house is this is the old original basement, and then they put a giant addition on through this wall. We'll show you that in a second, but this is a concern, right? This is the old rock foundation. They kind of put brick on it, then cinder block. And if you come in here, again, you're gonna see the wrapped piping. This particular home has been called by an appraiser to have a structure letter. And this is why, right? You can see things aren't exactly right. And I'm gonna take this light and I'm gonna kind of show this way. So if you can see under here, they put a bunch of beams and posts, and you can see that big wall sagging right there. That's not good. So that's why the bank would call for that. And if you come around this way, actually another thing, look up, you can see all the knob and tube wiring. That's this stuff here. So when you see that, you're gonna test it, see if it's active or if it's gone. It does have some new wiring, but you just don't know what's live. Now I'm gonna duck under here and kind of go this way. So over this way, you got all the access to the new stuff, the whole other half of the house that was built years later. And with that, that part is most likely sitting okay. But again, when the banks ask for a structure letter, it's because of all of this. And you know, you're gonna really need an expert's opinion. So hopefully this helps. And that's a really old basement, but I like the realtors that I help in the industry kind of learn about all this stuff so that they can help their clients. All right, so we're here in another basement, and I want to kind of show you, this home was built in 2006, so just want to point out a couple things so realtors kind of know what to look for. So this is obviously the heater. This house is pretty big, but it's only got one zone. If you had a second heater, it would be two zones, or there can be a heater in the attic. So that's another way to have two zones. This is a direct vent. I know I showed you that in our last video, gas heater. And then this is actually how you can tell if you have a gas water heater. And this is a flue for a gas water heater. That means it's not direct vent. So that's venting into, it'll go up through the roof in this property. All right, so we're here in another section of this basement, and I want to show you what a floating slab is. So as you can see down here, there's about a 1-inch gap between the slab, the basement floor, and the foundation wall. What happens is the entire perimeter is built that way. The water, if it were to come in somehow, it'll go in that trench all the way down to the sump pump, and as you can see, the line gets ejected out of the house. So that's a very good feature to have in anywhere where there's, you know, potentially wet basements. So we're gonna show you plumbing next. All right, so when you're looking at basements, you're gonna wanna know where the sewer lines go, right? Some houses have septic, some have public sewer. The black piping is typically a giveaway. Older homes, it can be terracotta, it can be cast iron. There'll be different colors, but in general, anything newer is gonna have black ABS, it's called. And this is your sewer line going out of the house. So in this case, we're at the front of the house, so we would know the sewer line's going out towards the street. So if it was septic, you would know the septic is gonna be in the front yard. This is gonna be your water main. So you always wanna know where your water mains are as well. That's where the hookup is for public water here. So Next, come on over here. I'm going to show you one last electrical panel. So this, being a newer home, was built with a 200 amp panel, and a good way to figure that out, I know I showed you in another video, at the very top on the main here, you're going to see 200. So this is a 200 amp panel, and if anybody ever wants to know when the approvals are, you can look at the stickers on all the appliances, and that'll show you when these things were put in or last updated from the township for any reason they needed a permit. So that's about it. Hope this helps. All right, so we're actually here in a crawl space, little 4-foot crawl space, and I wanted to point out for all those realtors out there that don't know what to look at. These are actual drill marks from a termite treatment. You can see up here there was a repair years ago, the old wood versus the new wood. So they must have came in, ate some of the wood, and then somebody cut it out and put all that back together. All right, we'll show you some more. All right, so we're here in another basement. This basement's about 120 years old. It's got multiple heating systems and water heaters, so I kind of want to show you a little bit of things that are important for realtors to know. All right, first things first, when you look up here, you can kind of see the old wiring. This is knob and tube wiring. These are the tubes. These are the knobs. What you want to know, what's important, is to know if it's live. You shouldn't be testing that. You can if you know a little bit about electric. And then this is an actual new Romex wire. And then back here, this is feeding an apartment in this building. This is like all of the apartment's wires. So when you look up, in most buildings, you'll see some of the old, new stuff, some of the old stuff. Very important to know, insurance goes up, and or some insurance companies won't even cover houses that have active knob and tube, right? Next, all right, so around the corner here, two things to see here. Number one, this is a parged basement wall. It wraps the whole perimeter. Basically, it's a stone foundation that they throw cement in, and this texture is called a sponge texture, where they make it nice and smooth. So that's one thing. Next, come on. This is a heating system. Obviously, this is heat and central air for one of the apartments in this building. Gas line, you can tell by the orange or yellow connection. This is a flue. So this comes out and goes into a chimney over here. You can kind of see right there. So whenever you see a chimney, this is a lower efficient unit than what I'm going to show you around the corner here. So, all right, so now we're on the other side of this basement where there's two more heaters for two other units in the building. This is called a direct vent heating system. Basically, it directly vents the fumes out of the property, and intakes a lot of times can be outside of the property as well. So there'd be intake, and the out gases going out of the building are out there on the outside. However, this basement's wide open, no closed door, so they let it circulate air within the building. These are two units again, gas, and then these are the air conditioning lines that come in to feed central air for the entire property. And then down here, I'm going to show you, so water heater. So standard water heater. Most realtors don't know how to tell if they're gas or electric. What you'll see, if actually you back up a little bit, on a water heater that's gas, you're going to have a gas line right next to it that runs and connects on the side of the water heater. So I'll show you over here. When you see an electrical wire, that means it's an electric water heater. Okay, so this is feeding the water heater. This does not have any gas in it. That's why you don't see any sort of flue going out. If there's a flue on it, it can either be directly vented out the side of the house, just like those heaters, or it'll connect to a chimney like the other ones. And two more things here in this basement. This is in a structure. It was added to just help support the building, because these old buildings, there was a lot of warping and moving over the years because the span to the middle was too far. So this is a structure repair, or just to secure the building. And in this building, because it was a twin property, there's one on each side, 12 feet off the basement wall, right? And then last, I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to show everybody a little bit about electric. All right, so two electrical panels. One feeds an apartment, one feeds the other apartment. So here, you will not know if there's no markings or no main breaker. You won't know the size of the panel. Doesn't really matter, but an agent, a lot of people want to know what size is down there. This big panel, if you ever need to know, it's going to be on this main. It says 200. So this is a 200 amp panel, and that's one way to tell. The main one will say 100, 150, or 200. And then these, you're not going to know anything, so ask an electrician, they'll tell you a little bit more. So I think that's about it here, and hope to show you more.